Before I take any questions, I just want to start out by saying how excited I am to be here in Lakeland. I mean, the early feedback from the community has been tremendous. We have our team here working hard to get everything up and running, and they've done a tremendous job. And, we see the trend all around the league. Teams, their G League team has to be so close to the parent team to really take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that this league is supposed to provide, which is development for players, for staff, for everybody. And so, this is a huge step for us, and we're really excited about it.
And how daunting of a task is this being a GM for the first time, and how intriguing is it learning how to put a team together?
Well, I think it's very intriguing. Anytime you do something for the first time, there's going to be a learning process, and there's growth involved, and I'm excited about the challenge. I know, I've got a lot to learn, and I've been reaching out to some of my friends that have had experience doing it and trying to gather as much information as I can. But, to me, it's about surrounding yourself with good people, and we've had that, obviously, with the addition of Coach Heath and Tunji, who's going to be assisting me here. Shelly, who's done a tremendous job already getting stuff up and running. And so, our staff in Orlando has been tremendous, and we've continued to do that here in Lakeland. So we're excited about the opportunity.
You've been with the Magic for 5 years. You know the personnel there. You've talked about that bond between Lakeland and the Magic. How helpful will that be, that you already know what the Magic have?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge, and I think that us being so close and having that relationship to be able to bring some of our younger players, or players that we need development, to come here and get the practice reps or the game reps or whatever it is. Also for our staff, to kind of stay close together and be able to have a conversation about guys, how they played last night. The coaching staff can go up to Orlando and meet with the coaches, and so there's just so many reasons why this move makes sense and how helpful it's going to be.
Why did you want to do this job, Anthony? And is your ultimate goal one day to become an NBA general manager?
I would say yes. I think the ultimate goal is to become a general manager. Why did I do this? I think, growing up as a player, you're always looking for the challenge. You're always looking for, not the success, but the challenge in the journey. And I think this is an opportunity for me to grow as a person, professionally, personally, and to work on skills professionally that I haven't had to do up to this point, just being a scout.
Are there specific challenges to being a G League GM that you're going to have to get up to speed on?
Well, certainly a lot of the rules and things that come along with this league. My assistant, Tunji, who was with Erie last year, is probably the best person to ask for all these things. He knows it in and out. And so he's done a tremendous job helping me and trying to get me up to speed. Another one of the challenges is just how fluid the situation is. It's always changing. Rosters are always changing. Situations are always changing. And so, trying to stay on top of that, I think, is going to be a challenge.
Anthony, your first head coach is going to be Stan Heath. What have you gotten to know about him? What personnel traits do you admire?
Well, first of all, Coach Heath and I used to kind of bump into each other randomly in Tampa when I would be there. We'd go to the same place to get our hair cut. And so, we were acquaintances, and I've gotten to have a conversation with him here and there. And he's always, everybody that knows him knows what kind of guy he is and what kind of person he is. And so that's great. As far as basketball, we haven't really gotten the chance to get to that point yet. Everything's so new and happening so fast, but I look forward to sitting down with him and putting our heads together and figuring this thing out.
How big of a boon is it going to be for the Magic having a team an hour down the road where you can send a guy and he can play a game and he can be back and sleep in his own bed that night?
No, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, and, the fact that, like you said, he can come down, get a game in, whereas prior to this, you got to plan out a whole, 2 weeks or 3 weeks that makes sense to go to Erie to really make the trip worth going. So, to be in Lakeland, to come in, play a game, get back, be with the team, practice with the guys, you can tailor it to whatever that player's needs are, and I think that's the most important thing.
You've been evaluating talent for 5 years now. How much of a baseline do you feel like you have in terms of a knowledge of the player pool that you're going to draw from?
Well, there's knowledge there, but I think there's always room for improvement, and there's always there's so many guys. I think that's one thing that blew me away going from a player to management and scouting is just how many guys there are out there. And as we go through the draft, you get thrown, hundreds and hundreds of players to study and try to get to the bottom of. So there's a lot of guys, and you just got to try to do the best you can and depend on your staff and make the right decisions. But, I think what we want to do is try to bring in people that love the game, that are willing to put the team above themselves, that are going to play hard and play for each other. And then, obviously the talent has to be there, but that's the most important thing. And then off the court, I think what we want is individuals that understand that they're representing Lakeland and on the court, but also off the court. We really want to have an impact on this community, and not just on the court. We represent Lakeland, and we're going to bring people in that are proud to do that.
And you've grown up with the basketball in your family your whole life, your sister, your brothers, and all that. You've chased it all around the world. I mean, what is this accomplishment? Is this one of those another notches for you?
Well, we've always sought out the challenge. It's not about doing what you're good at. It's about trying to grow and get better at things that you're not sure are how they're going to work out. And I think that's what my parents really tried to instill in us is just not trying to not make a mistake, but trying to learn from it. And I'm sure I'm going to make plenty of mistakes through this process, but I'm eager and I'm anxious to learn from them.
Next.
How much additional work will you do with the Magic scouting staffs, or how much will you continue the work you've been doing the last 5 years?
Yeah, so that's still going to be a large part of what I do is the scouting process, college, pro, international. And so that's just going to be a part of this. It's not just going to be the GM responsibilities.
Next month, you guys host an open tryout. What do you look for through that process? Because it's a bit of a unique thing.
It is. We're really excited about the tryout. We're going to have a tryout here in Lakeland. We're going to have a tryout in Orlando, and we're probably going to announce the details this coming week. But it's exciting. We have a couple examples in the NBA of guys that have come through the tryout and made it. And so, we have a talented area here with guys that, have had some success playing the game. And so I'm anxious to see kind of who comes out.
Jonathan Simmons made it to the NBA after a $150 tryout. I mean, is that a guy you point to that anything can happen in one of those tryouts? Well,
I think that's just evidence. I think we all kind of grow up saying, you can be anything you want, anything can happen. But when you have somebody that's actually done it, it kind of gives you some encouragement that, hey, this is possible. This isn't just something that teams put on for, to whatever,